I'm Amanda Gwatney, and I'll be one of your moderators for this evening's forum. We'd like to welcome you to the Fannin County Chamber Candidate Forum for the general election for November 3rd. Early voting starts October the 13th. We'll have candidates from the Fannin County Board of Commissioners Post 1 and 2 Fannin County Board of Education seats. On behalf of the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce Governmental Affairs Committee, thanks so much to TC3 for televising this forum. The videotape of the forum will also be shown on the Chamber Facebook page and will be sent out in our e-newsletter at a later date. Also, thanks to the Chamber's Governmental Affairs Committee, chaired by Teresa Bedez, and to Chamber staff Kim Foster and Jan Hackett.
Hello, I'm Stephen Miracle, and I will be co-moderating the event this evening. The format I'd like to explain to you for tonight's forum includes the following. Candidates are being asked to give a 2-minute opening statement. After that time, they'll be then asked questions that have been put together by the Governmental Affairs Committee. Each question also has a 2-minute response time and a 2-minute time for rebuttal if desired. After the question and answer period, the candidates will be given a 2-minute closing statement. I want to make it clear, this is a forum, not a debate. The goal is to help Fannin County voters learn more about the candidates.
First, we're going to hear from school board candidate Kathy Smith. Her opponent, Louis DeWeese, could not be with us because of illness. So first of all, Ms. Smith, if you would like to give your 2-minute opening statement.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Smith, and I'm running for a seat on the Fannin County School Board. I'm a retired teacher with 32 years experience teaching in New Jersey, Texas, and Oregon. I will use the background in education to confidently move our district forward, especially after we fully recover from these uncertain times. My first priority as a member of the board will always be to our students, parents, and staff. I'm dedicated to ensuring that our students get the finest education in the state with the help of the best teachers and staff. In addition to monthly board meetings, I'd like to offer more casual monthly chats with anyone interested in learning more about our schools and opportunities to help. I'll bring this information back to the board with any insights that I gather. I also plan to be seen as a regular fixture in all of our schools so that I can personally espouse the great work that our teachers and students are doing. As part of the board, I hope to create an openness of communication between teachers, staff, administration, and community, and our central office personnel. I want everyone in our district to know that they have a voice. I want to make sure that all of our students succeed in their educational goals from early elementary through high school. I believe that our schools are here to produce literate and thoughtful adults, whether through college preparedness or career readiness. When our students leave our high school, I want them to go on to bigger and better things in life and contribute to our county, our state, and our country as good citizens.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. We'll start now with the first question for you. What have you done to prepare yourself for holding the office you seek?
Well, the first thing I've done is I've been thinking about this position for the last 2 years, and especially in the last year, I've been either attending or watching, since we've been watching on Zoom or YouTube, been watching the board meetings that way. I've also been reviewing a lot of the statistics about Fannin County schools and how we're doing, and been looking into trying to make sure that I am aware of what's important. As a parent, as a former teacher, I know what I think is important, but I also want to know, I know that there are things that are very important to the board fiscally, as well as what we have to do for our students to make them successful.
All right, the next question. What is your motivation for running for this office?
My motivation for running for this office is I moved to Blue Ridge about 3 years ago. And I love Blue Ridge. And I love Fannin County. And I have decided that the best way for me to give back to my community is through my experience in education and running for a board seat. Fannin County has great schools. I want to help make them better. And I'd say that was probably my main thing, is this is what I felt like I could do best to help Fannin County, to help the Fannin County School District.
Thank you. Next, we have a two-part question.
Oh, okay.
What are your 2 or 3 top priorities for the next 4 years should you be elected?
Okay.
Part 2 is, how do you plan to accomplish this and fund it?
Oh, okay. First of all, according to some of the research that I have done, we get quite a bit of money per student. It looks like we get something like $10,000 per student. Not that that is, I mean, that's better than what the state average is, but so I think we have plenty of money that we can work with to do what we need to do in the district. I would have to say that right now our budget looks really good from what I've seen. And the area I think that I may have some concerns with would be making sure, especially that our minority students get the help that they need, and we help hopefully to raise some of their test scores and give them more support in school. In addition, the state of Georgia, from what I've seen, is also what they consider really good test scores are, I guess, from the states that I've taught in previously. We could probably slowly move those scores upward also. We've got a great rank in the state as far as our school district goes. I'd like to see us do better if I can. And I forgot the second part of the question.
What is related to funding? I think you addressed that earlier on.
I think I did. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and the last question is, what is the toughest challenge that the Board of Education will face in the next 4 years, and how would you address it?
I think the toughest challenge that we're going to face is going to come about as a result of what happens with our COVID-19 virus at this point in time. I think it's been a very challenging last couple of months with parents having to become teachers and teachers having to teach in a way that was completely unexpected to them. Some of the reports that I've read say that, you know, we may be in this situation for another year, maybe 2, before we totally feel comfortable with going back to what used to be. And I think we're going to have to look at how we address this, and perhaps we're going to see differences in how we teach our children. Financially, I think we're in good shape. I think the district is in good shape. We didn't take as hard a hit from the state or federal government as I thought we would. So I think we have the money to do what we need to. I think I would know more as I was able to get into the schools, talk to the teachers, talk to the administrators, talk to the people in central office, and get some more input from them.
Wonderful, thank you.
You bet.
That concludes the questions that we have for you. You now have an opportunity to do a 2-minute closing statement.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna close with a little bit of a story, because I think this is this hits home with, regardless of whether it's a parent or a teacher. When I was teaching in Oregon, parent-teacher conferences were a very important thing. And I will never forget the time that I had a Hispanic mom and dad come in for conferences, and we were meeting to talk about their son, who was just a doll. Hardworking student. English at home was not spoken very much, so it was, for him, it was a challenge, but he worked his tail off to be successful in my classroom. Anyway, his parents came in, and we had the ESL teacher with us who was translating, and he said, and we were telling these parents how wonderful their son was, and what a good student, how hard he worked. And the dad, who was a day laborer at a nursery, a tree nursery, where basically all day he dug up trees, dug holes, planted trees. And this dad started to cry. And he said to me, he was thanking us so profusely for what we were doing as teachers. And he said, I never want my son to work as hard as I have had to work. And you know what? That has stuck with me. And so I really do have a soft spot in my heart for students that struggle in school. And I wanted to share that with you.
Great, thank you very much. We appreciate
so
you
welcome.
taking the time tonight to share your thoughts about the upcoming race.
Thank you.
So, Amanda, while they're changing the candidates out, I wanted to ask you about the election time. I understand early voting starts next week?
Yes, early voting is going to go from October 13th through October 30th, and that will be available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Early voting is also going to be possible on Saturday, October the 17th, and Saturday, October the 24th from 9 to 4. And anybody who's interested in doing early voting can go to the Board of Elections office, which is on the 3rd floor of the courthouse, and do their early voting during those time frames. So if anybody has questions, they can also call the Board of Elections, and their number is 706-632-7740. So there's a good span of time for people to vote ahead of the election day, November 3rd.
Great, thank you. So early voting, that's done at the courthouse, is that what you said?
Yes, that's done at the courthouse in the Board of Elections office, which is on the 3rd floor. So if you go up the elevators, you come out into the hallway, it's to the right. So that's just take your ID and they will get you set up to early vote.
What about absentee voting or mail-in voting? Can we still do that in the county?
I believe the cutoff for that was yesterday, so anybody who already has requested their absentee ballot can get that and send it in. It just has to be sent in by the election day. So if anybody that's already requested that can follow through with that.
Got it. So they just drop that in the mail and then they'll be good to go.
Yes, there's also a drop box outside the door at the courthouse. There's standing on kind of under the main cover there at the door. There's a drop box for ballots, and it's clearly marked on there. So don't put it in the mail slot. But there is a drop box for the absentee ballots.
So that's the only place that you can put that ballot in, either at the post office or at the drop box?
As far as I know, but they could call the elections office to verify if there are drop boxes anywhere else. That's the only one I've seen.
Got it. And what's that number again for the elections office?
It is 706-632-7740. And then, of course, on Election Day, people can vote at their precincts, and that will be November 3rd, and the polls open at 7 a.m. and they will close at 7 p.m. So those different hours depending on whether you're doing early voting or voting the day of the election.
So I understand that they count the ballots at the courthouse,
Yes.
right? And then how quickly do the responses come?
Usually there is a report. They report as they count the precincts, but of course then absentee ballots at this point those are going to have to be counted after the fact, because they're going to accept anything that's postmarked by November 3rd is my understanding. So we may not know all of the final results until a few days later.
Got it. Have you ever gone to the courthouse on election night?
I have actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear the the votes being tallied as they come in. So I've only done that a time or two. I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Some people go every time there's an election and hear it. But then there are usually people that are posting on Facebook Live, doing a streaming video of the votes as they're being reported. So it's always a fascinating process. But early voting, since I'm at the courthouse frequently, so that's an easy way to just go ahead and take care of that, not have to do it on the day of the election. There's usually not a line because there are so many days and so much time that people can go vote. It's a great way to take care of that ahead of time at a convenient time. So I would encourage everybody to vote one way or another at some time.
So I did early voting for the primary.
Okay.
And was very happy with the fact that there wasn't a line.
Right.
And that the folks at the courthouse, at the elections office, did a really good job protecting everybody from the COVID virus.
Yes, they are doing a great job with that, with sanitizer and distancing and all those kinds of things. They're doing a great job making sure that everybody is safe and can do that securely. And of course, you get your temperature checked down at the main entrance to the courthouse, so just to verify that everybody is healthy and well when they come in.
Very good, very informative. Thank you very much for that information. So our next candidate is ready for opening statements and questions. Is the Fannin County Board of Commission Post 1. The Democratic candidate, Dixie Carter, is with us this evening. However, Republican candidate, Johnny Searcy, is unable to attend due to illness. So, Ms. Carter, if you'll start us off by giving us a 2-minute opening statement, please.
Thank you. To begin with, I just wanted to thank the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce for hosting the forum. Also, I'd just like to send my thoughts and prayers for Johnny and his recovery. We miss him tonight. To begin with, I decided to run for office to be an advocate for all the citizens of Fannin County, an advocate who listens and respects others' opinions, an advocate who encourages public engagement to develop solutions. And I'll give you a little bit of my background. I am a Georgia native. I was born in Troup County, Georgia. I am native to that area. My family settled in that area in the early 1700s. I moved to the North Georgia area with my family as a teenager. I graduated from Dalton High School and Dalton Junior College. After completing my degree at Dalton Junior College, I worked for 7 years at a psychiatric hospital and then decided to return to college at UTC, where I completed a bachelor's degree in social work. I have experience in behavioral health services, addiction counseling, crisis intervention, case management, utilization review, child protective services, hospice, social work, and medical social work. I have 30 years of experience in serving Georgians. That's it.
All right. The first question that we have for you tonight is, what have you done to prepare yourself for holding the office that you seek?
Over the several years, I've attended the Board of Commissioners meetings. I have, kept up with what's going on in the paper. Also, I've looked at their website. It provides a good bit of information, and then you have the minutes and the video of the Board of Commissioners meetings. I have talked with a lot of different citizens, and I've kind of got a good idea of what is on their mind, I think, and what they'd like to see happen in the community. In addition, also, the Chamber, they have a good information about the demographics and a lot of statistics, so I've really enjoyed reading that too.
Thank you. We'd like to know in the next question, what is your motivation for running for this office?
My motivation for running for commissioner is to bring the public back into public service. Many, over the years, I've noticed many citizens feel like they aren't being heard and feel a little bit disrespected. I think that involving the public more and having more public engagements.
All right, next question. What are 2 or 3 of your top priorities for the next 4 years should you be elected, and how do you plan to accomplish those and fund those?
Thank you. One of my goals is the improve some of the infrastructure in different areas in Fannin County. The public parks in Fannin County, several of them need restoring and updated. Tamron Park needs to be totally, I think, redesigned and more user-friendly. Also, the Fannin County Recreation Complex, they have a very nice walking path, and I think that it could be improved to make it more user-friendly. Also, another area is, like I just talked about, is public engagement strategies, such as having town halls, small group meetings with citizens, and then also looking at putting out a monthly or quarterly community updates where the citizens really know what's going on and not getting it, just from gossip or whatever. And then also financial accountability is another area, to publish reports regularly and have them to where they're, everyday people can understand some of that, because it can get very complicated, I think. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Our last question is as follows. Would you please share with us what you believe is the toughest challenge the Board of Commissioners will face in the next 4 years, and how would you address this problem?
The toughest challenges. I think one of the toughest challenges will be the more growth, the increase in the population. They're supposed, the baby boomers, like 65 and over, really are going to increase in the next few years and retire in areas such as Blue Ridge. In managing that growth, the public safety, will have to reevaluate, their employees and their, do they have the equipment they need to keep people safe? I just lost my train of thought.
Not the challenge and how you plan to address it.
Oh, okay. The challenge, yes.
Yeah.
Also, managing growth. I know downtown Blue Ridge has recently experienced a lot of growth, and I think having a good, smart growth plan will be needed in the future. The newer residents sometimes have a little bit different ideas about that than the older residents, so you got to find some middle ground, some compromise with that. And with growth, you have to look at, in our area, is it going to harm any of the green spaces or the environment around us? So.
All right, thank you. Now you'll have 2 minutes if you'd like to do a closing statement, anything you'd like to wrap up with.
Sure. Just, I want to say that I know I'm not a business person, per se, like some of the folks on the commission, but I do have a lot of experience dealing with people, with being able to listen to people and their concerns. I have a lot of experience coming up with, solutions and trying to work toward that with folks. And In addition, over the years, I've helped many individuals overcome personal challenges. Likewise, I want to help the community that we are in overcome challenges so that all residents can have the opportunity to thrive. And I would ask for your vote on November 3rd.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We appreciate you sharing your views with us.
Okay, thank you.
So, Amanda, they're going to change out the candidates again, and we get our third group of candidates that will be talking to us. This is for a school board position?
Yes, it is. We have two candidates, and in this segment, we're going to have both candidates here. So this will be a little bit different than the first two segments have been. And so we will have opening statements for both of them, and then this time we'll ask a question and we'll offer one candidate the chance to answer first, then the second candidate can answer, and then if the original candidate wants to have a rebuttal time, they can certainly do that, and we'll go back and forth with several questions, and then they will also have an opportunity for closing statements.
Okay, good. Thank you. I wanted to go back and talk about the election. Will you tell us again? Early voting begins next week.
Yes, early voting will be October the 13th through October 30th. And again, that takes place at the courthouse in the Board of Elections office, which is on the third floor of the courthouse. And for early voting, the times are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then they're also offering 2 Saturday dates, which is a great benefit for people who work during the week and can't get there during the week. But on Saturday, October the 17th and October the 24th, early voting is available from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And again, that's also at the Board of Elections office at the courthouse. And then, of course, Election Day, if you haven't voted early, you can do that on the day of the election at your precinct from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And of course, that's on November the 3rd. So if you have any questions, or if I've given any misinformation, I hope they'll correct me. I think I've got it right, though. But you can certainly call the Board of Elections if you want to double check me. Their number is 706-632-7740. So, but a lot of opportunities for people to vote and have their choices and voices heard. So I encourage everybody to vote in one of those fashions, early voting or the day of the election.
Cool. You know, we talked at the earlier break a little bit that they count the votes at the courthouse.
Yes.
And people can go and witness the announcement precinct by precinct.
Absolutely. Those come in as the precincts close, depending on how long it takes the poll workers to get everything loaded up and taken to the courthouse. Then they go, and of course now they have the machines that count everything, and so they run those numbers and announce those at the courthouse. So it's an interesting process if you've never done it to go and watch. And then there are also people usually who the newspapers do a great job of uploading the numbers as they come in on their websites. So you can look at those, and then there are usually a couple of people doing Facebook Live videos of the numbers, so you can. There's no reason not to know what's going on pretty much as it happens. So a lot of ways to keep informed about the process.
So can anybody just go and participate, or do you need to be a lawyer like you?
Nope, anybody can go. Anybody that wants to go and hear the numbers come in can do that. There are some regulars that are always there, and then some people just come. You know, some of the candidates are there, so just different people who are interested in the process. So it's good to be involved. So anybody that wants to go can certainly go and hear the numbers as they come in.
Very interesting. That sounds like it could be a very enlightening and interesting time to witness democracy in action.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
All right, would you tell us one more time the phone number for the election office?
It is 706-632-7740. And during those times that I referenced for early voting, 9 to 6, October 13th through October 30th, and on the Saturday dates, October 17th and 24th from 9 to 4, there will be people there that will help you and get you checked in and help you through the voting process. They're using machines and cards now, so if you're a little bit concerned about the process, go during early voting, and there's plenty of time for you to take care of that without any pressure, and there are people there to help you. So it's a very easy process. They'll walk you through it.
Great. You ready to hear from the candidates?
Absolutely.
All
We
right.
have one more segment, and for the last segment, we will hear from school board candidates. We have our Republican incumbent, Chad Galloway, and also T.C. Dillard running as a Democrat. So we'll start with opening statements, and Mr. Galloway, since you're our incumbent, I'll let you go first if you want to give your opening statement, and then we'll hear from Ms. Dillard.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chad Galloway, and I'm running for the re-election for the Fannin County School Board. Being a native of Fannin County and a Fannin County High School graduate, class of 1995, this school system and its success are very personal to me. My family, my wife, Amanda, class of 1997, my son-in-law, Jared Davenport, honor graduate, class of 2010, my daughter, Brittany Davenport, honor graduate, class of 2014, my other daughter, Adia, 7th grader at Fannin County Middle School. My youngest daughter, Ariana, 6th grader at Fannin County Middle School. And I have one granddaughter, Ryland Davenport, who I hope to see go through our Fannin County system also. My family currently resides in Morganton, where we actively participate in the life and growth of Concord Baptist Church. My Sundays are spent acting as choir director, and I serve both as treasurer of the Activity Fund and secretary of the Cemetery Committee. Professionally, I've served 6.5 years as the lead plumber and electrician for the Gilmer County School System Facilities Department. And I currently serve as a multi-craft maintenance tech in facilities for the University of North Georgia here at the Blue Ridge campus. And personally, I've been honored to serve on the Fannin County School Board for 4 years. And in the last year, I've had the honor of serving as the chairman. So in seeking re-election for the school board seat, my primary objective is to ensure that I continue to be a good steward of the community's tax dollars while maintaining an academic focus on all children served in our community. It is my objective to continue to act as a liaison between the community and the Board of Education and the superintendent. Only under a common voice are we able to ensure all parties are represented at the decision table. It is my objective to continue to ensure, both verbally and in action, that all students, faculty, and staff, and citizens are provided with an open, honest, and transparent Board of Education, working within our means while ensuring student growth and progression. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dillard?
Good evening. My name is T.C. Dillard, and I'd like to thank ETC and the Chamber of Commerce for providing this opportunity. Fannin County has a good, solid school system. I grew up in Fannin County schools, and I was a proud member of the school system as an employee. I retired last December. I taught business education at Fannin County High School for 22 years. I was an assistant principal for 11.5 years. I have seen us grow in the areas of academics, performing arts, technology, athletics, and certainly in our facilities. We are on the right path, and I believe my firsthand experience would provide insight into areas of new growth. As a teacher, I sponsored FBLA, mock trial, the Junior Board of Directors, the basketball cheerleaders. I served on numerous committees, coordinated prom, graduation, awards night, spent most every Sunday afternoon preparing lessons for the week and or completing activities for extracurricular. I was a member of the football chain crew, an assistant cross-country coach. I kept the scorebooks for softball and basketball. I was also snowed in with the state champion Lady Rebels in the blizzard of 1993. I truly enjoy being around kids. In 2008, I became an assistant principal, and it was then that I realized and got to see the bigger picture. Everyone was giving 110%. I conducted teacher observations, assisted in hiring new staff. I was in charge of the master schedule, budgets, professional learning, teacher observations, testing, homebound services, 504 plans, IEP meetings, and of course monitoring safety during the day and at nighttime events. I also assisted with discipline and worked with the district staff on reports and projects. I believe my experience would be beneficial to the school board. Officially, I've been a teacher and administrator, as well as serving as an interim CTA director and a bookkeeper at the school. Unofficially, I've been a counselor, a plumber, a mom, a bouncer, a liaison between multiple groups of people, a motivational speaker, a negotiator, a dress code enforcer, a cheerleader, and most importantly, the keeper of the Kleenex in the office. The students and staff are family to me, and I'll be honored to serve all of them as a member of the school board.
Good, thank you very much. This next section is we have a series of questions. We'll ask the same question for each of you. You'll each have an opportunity to answer, and then there will be a rebuttal period. So the first question will go to Mr. Galloway. What have you done to prepare yourself for holding the office that you seek re-election to?
A lot of continuing the same things that we're doing every day. Reaching out, being in the schools, from elementary schools all the way middle schools, trying to be a presence in each one of them. Reaching out to our community members, listening to them, especially during these times of uncertainty with COVID and stuff going on, asking them kind of how they feel, making sure that we're doing the right things, being on the right track for them. And basically just doing the same things that we've always been doing for the last 4 years. Trying to be honest, transparent, and be that voice for the children and always speaking up for them.
Thank you. Ms. Dillard?
I've been in education all of my life. My family is a family of educators. My mother, 2 sisters, I have 2 sister-in-laws, 2 brother-in-laws, an uncle. We are a family of educators. And even though my brothers were not in education, they were taught the value of education, and they both attended technical college and college afterwards. I feel like that my experience as being a teacher for 22 years and an administrator for 11 and a half years, I've done every job that everybody in that school has done at some point in every way. I feel like I've walked in their shoes. I feel like I'm aware of the needs of the students. I'm very in touch with them. I believe that the challenges that we're facing in these days and times, I can be an assistance for those. But mostly I feel like that my preparedness has come from being actively in the school. I've served on numerous committees. I've been through the SACS accreditation process as a teacher and administrator. I've served on committees. I've been to professional learning. I've had many trainings and leadership opportunities. I'm a very blessed person to have been in the Fannin County school system for 32 years. I feel like I've had some very good mentors in my life. I was hired by Gene Crawford. I was worked as a teacher underneath Morgan Arp, Robert Foster, Mark Henson, Sandra Mercier, Michael Gwatney. There are very few people that can say that they actually went to school with a superintendent. Mark Henson was 2 years behind me. I had Miss Mercier was my English teacher, and then she became my co-worker and then superintendent. And I taught Michael Gwatney, and I taught Chad Galloway. I'm very proud of the students of our community, our schools, and what they've accomplished, and I'm proud of our staff. And I would like to be a voice for them and like to be of assistance to them in any way possible.
All right, thank you. For the second question, since Mr. Galloway answered the last one first, we'll let Ms. Dillard answer this one first. And the question is, what is your motivation for running for this office?
My motivation for running for this office is because I love Fannin County students and staff. I love my community. I went to McKaysville Elementary School. I went to West Fannin as a 9th grader when it was just before the high school opened. I was a 10th grader in 1976 when the school opened at Fannin County High School. I was in the first class that graduated from Fannin County High School with 3 years of school then. I was fortunate enough to come back to be a teacher, although I said all of my life I would not be a teacher. I told everyone that was not what I was going to do. And then God saw differently. I graduated from North Georgia College and went out and worked in the business world of Atlanta for 3 years, and then it was time for me to come back and become a teacher. Barbara Smith became a vocational supervisor at just the time I finished my student teaching, so God opened the door for me to be here. And then from there, it was my life. My life has been Fannin County Schools. I still connected with the schools by volunteering. I have friends there. I have family there. I am very blessed to have spent 32 years in the school system. And my motivation is just to make it better. I feel like that I'm conservative with my money. I can help guide when they make decisions about money. I feel like that I know what teachers need, what students need. I feel like that my experience will be beneficial having walked those halls. And I just want to be the best person I can be for those kids and for the teachers and the staff.
Okay. All right, Mr. Galloway, what's your motivation for running for this office?
I would have to be the children, most definitely. From the moment that you ever get to see pre-K kids get off a bus and enter a school, and their enthusiasm, their eyes, the willingness to want to learn, to be in an elementary school, seeing the kids wanting to be getting ready to graduate from kindergarten, all the way up through even in the middle school when all the things start changing, hormones and everything start going crazy, and kids start doing a few little things that maybe we're not so proud of, but still seeing all the accomplishments and stuff. Then all the way up to high school, when you actually get to stand on the field and see a student come through that's fixing to graduate, and you see it in their eyes. You see the hope and the aspiration and all the accomplishments that they made. Well, it'd have to definitely be the children is the reason I run. Also, I want to say that I do want to be that voice for our community also, and I feel like that I have been that I feel like the community's been able to reach out to me when they got concerns and stuff. And a lot of times it's hard to go to a teacher or to an administrator and talk to them, but you can go to a board member and feel like that you're good at it, or that you've got somebody on your side that's willing to step up for you. And I feel like I've done a great job at that. So that would also, and being conservative, definitely keeping our system where that we pay as we go, that we don't bond, that everything that we do it when we get the money, that we don't go out on a limb and try to send future debt down to our children. So that would definitely be important reasons why I added. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Galloway, the next question you'll have an opportunity to speak to first. What are your top 2 or 3 priorities over the next 4 years, and how do you intend to accomplish and fund those priorities?
Top 2?
2 or 3.
2 or 3, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say you can limit me to 2. Okay. Definitely number 1 priority would be is that we could keep our SAC scores as high as what we've been. I know we're not coming up here in the next year or 2, but we are coming up pretty close in 4 or 5 years that we'll be reaccredited for that. And that would definitely be a huge goal for me, that we can maintain that same high number that we've got. If I'm not mistaken, that has been the highest number in Fannin County's history under the great leadership and stuff that we have. And that would be a definite one that I'd love to see happen. We're fixing to start 2 new facilities. I'd love to see those get completed and done, be under budget or on budget, at least on budget. Those are huge for me. We started some kindergarten or birth to 5 initiatives. I'd love to see that continue. We started a pre-K in every elementary school. I'd love to see that continue to grow. We've got our LG4 grant. I'd love to see it continue. There's all kinds of things that we've started in the school system. We started welding. I'd love to see it continue to grow, and more things in our CTAE programs. I'd love to see some more stuff reach out. I'd love to see the people be electricians in it. I'd love to see that be offered. I know we're doing the nursing and all that. I'd love to see our nursing program. I know you only said 2 or 3, but I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many things that our school system is good at and that they're doing that I would love to see continue. So definitely, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Dillard, what are your top 2 or 3 priorities for the next 4 years, and how would you accomplish and fund those priorities?
Like Chad, I want us to continue to see us grow in the areas that we're growing in. Financially, we're very stable there, and I would make sure that we stay in that area. One of the areas I'd like to see us grow in is looking at mental health for our students and staff, the mental and social, emotional wellness of our students and our staff. I believe that it's time for us to look at having some additional help in the school system. We have great counselors. We have great people working with our students, but the challenges that they're facing now is making us a little more needy in that area, so I'd like to look at that. I'd also like to look in the area of our hourly staff and employees. Their wages are, I feel like they're low for the amount of work that they're doing, the duties they're pulling out, the responsibilities that they have, and I'd like to look at those. I'd like to look at some ways to improve the morale and support to the teachers directly and the staff, letting them know that we're there for them. I'd like to see, being retired, I will have a lot of time to be in the school system. I can be there daily, I can be there weekly, I can volunteer and see what they need. I would like for them to feel like they could have someone they can come and talk to and continue in that area of growth for that. Technology, we've grown tremendously in technology. We have Chromebooks for, I think, 3rd grade through 12th grade, and I'd like to see us improve our technology for our younger grades as well. I have some concerns over our facilities that are older. Our schools are a little older, and we have some landlock issues with some of our schools that concerns me. So I feel like those are some areas that we can look at. How do you fund them? You work with the money that you have from the community. I would look at areas that we could cut that were not impacting student achievement. I think maybe salaries of upper or higher people might be something to consider, but your funding is what you have, and you have to work with what you have. And I do appreciate the people of the community supporting SPLOST. We are very fortunate to have that SPLOST money to do things with. So I would just look at continuing on our growth pattern.
Thank you.
All right, the last question, and Ms. Dillard, will start with you on this one. What is the toughest challenge that you think the Board of Education will face in the next 4 years, and how would you address it?
Well, I think there are probably two big challenges. Of course, one is with currently with our mental, as I mentioned before, the mental and social emotional wellness of our students. Before I retired, I saw numerous students who were being placed in facilities for treatment for anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. That's definitely grown in the area. So that's a challenge that we're going to be facing, because if a student's not in the right place, education is their last concern. They're more worried about their own, they need to be concerned about their mental health. Same with teachers. They're under a lot of stress for accountability from testing and states, and we put more and more on them. I think that we have to look at their mental and emotional well-being there. Another challenge I think that we have to worry about is just the budget cut. I mean, I can only see that, you know, depending with the COVID. We've had a lot of budget cuts, but we've been very fortunate to be able to maintain our budget. But I think we need to be looking at how we spend our money. I'm going to go back to the mental social awareness there just for a second, and they say that it's not just students and teachers, our community, we're stressed. You know, parents are trying to make a living on a minimum wage sometimes, and that's difficult. There will be times when parents would say to me, I can't come for a parent conference because I'm an hourly employee and I can't miss work. So we need to work at relieving their stress as well. So I think that those are some of the things we need to be looking at.
Mr. Galloway?
Can I hear the question again, please?
Yes. What is the toughest challenge that you see for the school board over the next 4 years, and how would you address it?
For the next 4 years, that's kind of hard to predict, but I can tell you for the next year, with the budget cuts that we've had from the state handing down the 10% that we're not getting, that's been pretty difficult. But we are in great financial shape, and that we've handled that pretty well. We've not furloughed anybody. We've not cut anybody's hours. We've not lowered anybody's pay. As far as I know, we are maintaining just like nothing ever happened, and that can only can be done through conservative values. So that I am grateful for. But as far as challenges, has been an extremely difficult challenge to pool our resources and stuff and try to find the areas where we can cut and not have to do those things, not have to have furloughs, not have those things. Another challenge would be to keep our great success that we have. That is the biggest challenge that I feel that we ever have. Is we've set a bar so high that to continue that is our biggest challenge, is to keep the right people in the right places, the right administrators, the right people in our district level, that we might keep that same level up there at that same height, that we can still achieve and be that shining light for those other counties around that maybe not doing as good as us. So that's our biggest challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the question part of the forum. Now each candidate will have an opportunity to give a 2-minute closing statement. And since Mr. Galloway started, we'll let Ms. Dillard begin this part of the segment.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce again and ETC for sponsoring this event. I am not a politician. I'm an educator. I am from a family of educators who have all served in Fannin County. My home is Fannin County. I graduated from Fannin County High School. I have worked with kids in school and at Williamstown United Methodist Church my entire life. And by the way, if you don't have a church family, Williamstown is located on the River Road near Horseshoe Bend Park. Come join us. That's just a little plug there. But back to the election. A school board election should not be about a political party. It should not be about anyone's agenda. It should be about electing someone who has education experience, someone who will do what's best for the children, someone who will be supportive of the staff and the community, and someone who will make wise financial and administrative decisions. I am that person. If elected, I will work tirelessly for all students and all stakeholders, just as I did when I was a teacher and administrator. Win or lose, though, I will always support the students and staff of Fannin County because Fannin is family. Lastly, we are in unprecedented times in the world, and the impact has been great on education. A special thank you goes out to those who are currently serving the students on the front lines. That would be the nutrition staff, custodians, bus drivers, parapros, secretaries, counselors, academic coaches, additional support people, administrators, and of course, leading the charge, the teachers. I hear the tiredness in your voices, and I know you are doing everything you can to keep the kids safe, meet their needs, and fulfill your many duties. I applaud you and say, none of us can change our circumstances, especially these circumstances. We can only work towards making today and tomorrow better for everyone. We should all strive to be a better teacher, custodian, secretary, administrator, parent, co-worker, friend, or more plainly, we should all strive to be a better person today than we were yesterday. You guys are all making a difference in your schools and in our community, and I applaud you personally for that. And if you see fit to vote for me, I would thank you.
Mr. Galloway, your closing remarks, please.
Throughout this entire campaign, I feel that I've certainly demonstrated that I'm the best candidate to be reelected as a member of the Fannin County Board of Education. In my candidacy, I bring to the table an individual that makes decisions based on common sense and a fresh set of eyes focused on schools and children, and not based on personal agendas or politics. I have worked in the school system, and I've seen on a daily basis how the community tax dollars are used to maintain our facilities and provide instructional resources to help our children find success. I have personally had hands-on involvement with the building of new facilities, renovation projects, and I am daily around students and faculty from the youngest pre-K learners to those getting ready to walk across the stage in graduation. This has allowed me to hear the many concerns and needs of a system and has provided me the insight on the decisions required in making a difference. It is my objective to represent both verbally and in action that all students, faculty, and staff, and citizens are provided with an open, honest, and transparent Board of Education, working within our means while setting high standards and pressing towards our 100% graduation goal. I hope I can count on your vote on November 3rd, and I thank you for putting our children first through your voice. May God continue to bless our great school and our great nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you, for sharing your views and letting us learn a little bit about how you would operate should you be elected to the school board. We really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
That concludes our forum. Amanda, if you'll tell us one more time, we've got early voting starts next week.
Yes, it does. October 13th through October 30th, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 at the Courthouse Board of Elections office, and also on Saturday, October 17th and Saturday, October 24th from 9 to 4. Again, that's early voting at the courthouse at the Board of Elections office. You can go see the nice folks there, and they'll do a great job walking you through how to do that process. And then if you miss those times, of course, Election Day is November 3rd. You would vote at your precinct from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please take advantage of one of those opportunities to vote and make your voice heard. And we appreciate the Chamber, Jan Hackett and Kim Foster for making this a possibility, as well as the Governmental Affairs Committee, Teresa Bedez. Thank you all for your participation and for viewing the forum, and we hope it's been informative and helpful in making your decisions.
And go out to vote. Thank you.